Clean. Clean on the outside, dirty on the inside. And for our first speaker from New York City, we will have David M.
Hey family, I'm David. I'm an addict. First things first, I want to thank the committee for allowing me the opportunity to share this message that saved my life. I also want to thank the East End River Committee for doing such a wonderful, dynamic, marvelous job of helping us this week and carry this message. And I understand it's their second time out, and y'all are doing a bang-up job, and it goes out to you. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to share a message that has saved my life. I'd like to welcome anybody new to Narcotics Anonymous. I'd like to welcome anybody who might be struggling with relapse, struggling with this program, working on things. I'd like to say to the newcomer, please keep coming back. Just when you think the hole cannot be filled, a spark of light comes to you. And it comes to you through the rooms, through the magic, and through the power of a wonderful dynamic program. I need to say, 2 weeks ago I celebrated 8 years. And I share my clean time because I'm grateful. And I need to share with the newcomer that clean time is not a rank. It's a privilege to be clean. It's a privilege to be clean. I'm free. You know, this program offers us and promises us one thing. It promises us freedom from active addiction. And I've been free. I used to have a spike in my neck at the end. I used to walk up and down streets at 4 in the morning trying to steer customers for a $2 PC. I stole and I robbed and I helped my mother look for the money the next morning. I need to share with y'all that as a result of coming here and surrendering a day at a time, my life has took a 90-degree turn. I need to say I ain't as dirty as I used to be. And you know, this topic is real funny. It's talking about being dirty on the inside and clean on the outside. I ain't as dirty as I used to be. And I need to tell you that it's also a program where we have to begin to put the bat down and take the feather out and start stroking ourselves for some of our accomplishments. See, everybody can't do this. Everybody can't do this. I got clean, straight up, raw in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I felt the power, I felt the healing, and I surrendered because I knew that there was no way out. Everything else, everything that I tried failed. Endless detoxes, endless institutions. It wasn't until I came into the rooms and made a decision that I wanted something better for my life was when I got clean. We always talk about the newcomer, them being the most important person. I need to thank the old timers for showing me how this works. I need to share with y'all that thank you. Thank you for teaching me that there was a better way. I'm sitting in a room with people with 10 years, 11 years, 12 years. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the people and my sponsees who I have the privilege of guiding through this program. You're my sponsor too. I'd like to thank Alfonso for helping me put the pieces together. I'd like to thank the people in my area for constantly reminding me of my disease. See, because in a minute with the bridge back to life, it gets good in here sometimes, and we forget. We forget it's always about using. I don't care how good it gets, it's always about using. And I keep the spike in my neck up front, and I share about it whenever I'm asked to carry this message. Clean on the inside. Clean on the outside, dirty on the inside. Dirty on the inside. I've been doing some 11-step work lately. And this is not a religious program, but it's a spiritual program. Just read the steps if you think I'm lying. And I've been having some conversations with God lately. Some real deep conversations with God. And I said, God, you freed me. I ain't been in jail in 8 years, God. You freed me. I ain't stole a wallet from nobody in 8 years. God, I'm free. God, you gave me a job. God, you gave me an apartment. You sent me to college. I'm getting ready to go to law school. God, I'm free. I said, why I don't feel free all the time, God? Why I don't feel free all the time, God? God, I'm trying. God, I'm really trying. But God, sometimes I go back to a behavior from which I'm most comfortable with, God. You know, God, you told me that the program teaches me a new way of life. God, I always go back to the old, God. God, help me keep my life elevated, God. God, why I fall victim to the same things I worked on when I had 6 months clean? We're talking about dirty on the inside. Not being spiritually free. See, I made a decision when I surrendered in the first step that I wanted to be free, totally free, without any reservations. I ain't spiritually free. I learned early on that I was powerless over my disease and my life had become unmanageable. Being powerless over your disease means you have no power. None. And I wish this program was about smoking crack and shooting dope. I wish that's all it was, because if that's all it was, we would need these chairs after we get clean. We could get physically clean. I'm talking about getting spiritually, mentally, and well. God, you told me I had the disease that was incurable. That for the rest of my life, all I can do is arrest my disease a day at a time. God, help me. Help me, God. And I got some answers in that conversation. He referred me back to the 6th step of Narcotics Anonymous. See, we're talking about being free here. We're talking about being spiritually all right with everything. And I went over the list of defects of character, because this is a program about character building. And I thank God for Narcotics Anonymous, because Narcotics Anonymous introduced me to me. For the first time, I found out who Junior was, the dope fiend and crack addict who grew up in Harlem on 123rd Street. For the first time, I met myself. And I realized that I'm a big product of my mother and my father. And I don't blame my addiction on anyone. I go back in my recovery so I can understand the process. I'm here to share with you that if you haven't done a 4th step, it's like going in a grocery store without a shopping list. And you know how we are in stores. We go down the wrong aisle, get the wrong things, and come back with stuff we don't need. I need to share with you that the 4th step was a blueprint of how I was going to correct some of the issues that was going on in my life. And I need to share with you that I have tolerance and patience for the newcomer who come in here and share and they sound like they're rambling. Let them have their process. See, it's 24 principles that we work with, and spiritual principles like tolerance is one of them. Those fucking old timers, excuse my language, had patience for a greasy old crackhead and dope fiend like me when I crawled in here 8 years ago. So I give the same time for the newcomer. Getting back to the list of defects. I found, in going through my list of defects of character, that out of 10 defects of character, 9 of them were fear-based. I found early on that I had a problem with being greedy. One was never enough for me. I always wanted more. And when I got to the exact nature of why I wanted more, I always feared that I would never have enough. So early on, long before I picked up, I had addict behavior. Long before I picked up the first chemical, I was greedy. And you know why I was greedy? Because I was needy. I needed somebody to love me. I needed somebody to accept me. The mechanism of self-preservation wasn't kicking in. I needed someone to validate who I was. I was greedy early on, hungry. So when I go over the list of defects of character, I have some compassion for my disease. See, we can't change anything until we accept our condition. So when I talked about being greedy, I had to understand how, see, you know, after you've been here a while, our disease gets very sophisticated. See, early on, we shop it away. Early on, we fuck it away. Early on, we eat it away. See, when you get time, you start taking advantage of newcomers. Because you're greedy. You know, and this is my story. This is my story. It's not a reflection on anybody in here. Everybody has their process. I'm talking about me. My need and my fear of being alone and my fear of not having enough caused me to compromise a lot of my principles. A lot of my principles. I didn't care if you didn't have time and you wasn't working on something. I needed somebody to lie in my bed with me and fill the void that I was feeling. See, I'm a pleasure seeker. Another character defect. I need to talk about the character defect of ego. False pride. See, we're talking about being dirty on the inside. You know, the false pride of dressing the outside up so the insides won't feel so bad. I tell you, I was almost bankrupt before I got through. Some of the clothes that I bought so I wouldn't feel so bad. Nothing ever worked till I surrendered and asked God to help me. Nothing ever worked till I sat in the front row and raised my hand and humbled myself, because in this fellowship you can't save your face and your ass at the same time. And I got humble. And I said, God, help me. See, I've been by myself for 4 years. And I need to share with you that that's been by choice. I'm here to share with you that the old timers and the people in this program taught me that I deserved something. Taught me that I didn't have to ask nobody for a $2 short no more. Taught me that I can get what my God wants me to have, and that's total blessings. I ain't got to pay for nobody today. I ain't got to buy nobody today. I ain't got to compromise any of my principles. All I have to do is hurry up and be patient. See, impatience is another defect of character. We as addicts with this disease, we want it right now. We've always been taught that the easier way was the quick, easy fix. You can't have the freedom without doing the work. Freedom ain't free. Freedom is not free. And I learned that the hard way. Pain is a motivator. I ain't sitting up here with 8 years and getting this overnight. I worked through some of these issues and I cried. I cried. And I sat by myself New Year's Eve and I cried. Because God, I want somebody to love me. He said, a half and a half don't make a whole in a relationship. He said a hole in a hole makes a hole. It's different mathematics. So I'm getting my hole ready. Because it's going to be all right when I say it's all right. Whew. Dirty on the outside. You know, I need to share with you that this disease is real sophisticated. You know, and I need to tell you that the bridge back to GAP does not mean it's a bridge away from the program. I need to share that we need you, people with time. I need to tell you that complacency is an enemy. I need to tell you that there is no graduations here. We don't ever get this. We're never recovered. It's a process of recovery. Our second step talks about an ongoing process of being restored. It don't talk about being restored and that's it. It's ongoing. I always want to remain open-minded. I always want to remain willing. I always want people to let people know that I'm always open up for your information. I never want to be at that point where I got this. Because I'm in total trouble. Total trouble. Early on, little boy growing up, sitting on my mama's knee, watching her make biscuits and tea in the morning. I was such a happy little boy. 25 years later, I woke up with a spike in my neck. What happened? What happened? See, I always remember the pain. I remember locking myself in bathrooms and trying to find a vein to put something somewhere because I didn't like how I was feeling. It's always about feeling. And you come in here and your skin clears up and you gain a couple of pounds and you get a job and you become socially acceptable human beings. And you learn how to share in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. We know how to articulate our feelings. Think of the shit you did getting the next one. You don't think we can come in here and learn how to share? I came in here and I learned how to share and I realized I was sharing all this shit, wasn't talking about a goddamn thing. I need to share with you that I'm scared sometimes. I need to share with you that 8 years later I'm still having problems paying my bills. I need to share with you that sometimes being with me, I don't like it. But I'm learning how to talk about things. I'm learning how not to take the dirt outside with me. I'm learning how to arrest this disease a day at a time. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I found a home that nobody can ever put me out of. See, the only requirement for membership in this fellowship is not that we have a gold chain. You don't even have to drive here, believe it or not. Not that we have a new shirt, it's that we have a desire. Just an inkling. Just a want to stop using. Welcome to the newcomer. Welcome to the gay addict. Welcome to the lesbian. Welcome to the transvestite. Welcome to the one-armed midget. I love you. I love you. Feelings. That's what this is about. It's rolling up the sleeves and saying, come on, God, I'm ready. It's not about not ever running no more. I wish I could promise you that you'll never have an issue in here, that you'll never have to go through anything, but that's a lie. What I can promise you that we can teach you the tools to sit here while you go through it. I can tell you that the periods of insanity become far and far in between. I can tell you and I can promise you that this is a whole new makeover if you incorporate the 24 in your life. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here and I'm going to keep coming back. I'm going to keep coming back because I suffer from something from which there's no known cure. I'm getting better, y'all. I ain't as dirty on the inside as I was. Thanks for listening.
I'm still Andy Addict. And for our next speaker, we'll have Freddie S. from Washington, D.C.
Thank you. Hi, family. I'm an addict. My name is Freddie. And I'm real nervous. Y'all can tell.
I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you, too. David did a real good job. We were sitting up here debating who was going to go first. And he went first, and now I have a tough act to follow. You know, I should have went first. That's right. That's right. I want to first thank God, man, because this year has been one of those years for me that I was forced to find out about my God. You know, I thought I had knew a lot about him, but this year, you know, I really had to. You know, when they say that there come a time where there'll be nobody between a drink or a drug but the God of your understanding. Well, I experienced that this year, you know, and it is one of the things that really, really helped me to do some work on the inside finally after being here for 6 years. You know, when I first got here, I was weighing about 98 pounds. My head was matted to my head, and I was suffering from malnutrition. You know, it's real, real cold outside. You know, on a night like tonight, I'd be running up and down the street, jumping in any and everybody's car. You know, 4 and 5 deep, it did not matter. You know, I had to do what I had to do. I was one of those addicts. You know, literature talks about using to live and living to use, and for real, that's an understatement for me. You know, I was one of those addicts, man, who used until I literally passed out. You know, that is the only thing that would stop me. You know, I remember coming home one day after using for about four days, because I would go that long. You know, and I was walking home, and I lived about a block and a half away from where I was at. And I stopped just across the street. There was not a light or anything. It was just a caution to see if there was any cars coming. And fell asleep and almost fell back on the ground. And that's how I go. You know, I thank God for you people. I really do. Because I found out this year that, for real, Freddie, even after being clean for 5 years, you know, there was still in the back of my mind, you know, that complacency that David was talking about sometimes make me feel like I don't need y'all as much. You know, I don't need to come around, you know, to meetings as much. I don't need to call my sponsor as much. You know, and my God showed me this year that I really cannot, I'm convinced, y'all. Just like I was convinced when I got here, you know, my God showed me this year that I need you people. You know, before I came here tonight, you know, I had a real bad headache. I suffered with migraines. I had a fall last February, and I hit my head, and I suffered with migraines. And I had one before I came here tonight. You know, and we talk about having a God that we understand, and I tell you, I still don't sometimes understand my God. You know, because I'm still trying to figure out what was that all about. Why was I having a migraine an hour before I was supposed to come and share at a convention for my very first time? I'm already real nervous, you know. And when I get one of those migraines, I get to the point where it hurts to talk, you know. So, and I'm looking for an excuse, you know. So that really kind of like, you know, came to mind. Okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to show up. But I'm going to go to my sponsor and let her know, look, I can't share. I got a migraine, and it really hurts for me to talk. And then I can't think. So I just get up here and won't nothing come out. You know, but let me tell you, God has a funny way of working. I don't have that migraine, y'all, right now. You know, I believe, you know, my sponsor told me one time before that, you know, if you're leading the meeting or anything like that, then you're the one in the room who needs the most help. I believe that. You know, I really do. Dirty on the inside. That really could have been my name, you know, because when I got here, you know, it's real easy for a person like me to dress up the outsides. I've always been able to do that. You know, even when I was using, you know, I could dress up, you know, in the beginning anyway. In the end, I ain't had time to go home and get no clothes, because I was as far away from home as I could get. And I didn't have time to go home and get any clothes in the end. I didn't have time to change clothes. Let me, you know, keep it real. But there was never a problem for me to dress up, you know, to get clothes, to get back. I could bounce back with the materialistic stuff real fast, you know. And I'm a person who suffered. One of my defects is false pride. You know, I come from a family, man. We have false pride is about as big as this whole building, you know. So, you know, dressing up is something that I really felt like, you know, was going to, you know, help me to get accepted. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody it's easy, you know, to like a person who looks nice. You know, because that's what most of us want. So you think, you know, you can, you know, it's easy to like that kind of person, you know, and that's something that's real easy for anybody. All you got to do is get a job and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Materialistic stuff will come. You know, and that kind of helped me for a while. As a matter of fact, it helped me for a long time. I was in here for the first 5 years on a pink cloud. For the first 5 on a pink cloud. As a matter of fact, I was saying to myself, you know what? This has been too good. Something has got to happen. You know, I know it's going to happen. You know, my friends, you know, they was going through things, and I was going through things, but it wasn't nothing really major. You know, it wasn't nothing that was enough to make me do any work. You know, and to do any real work. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of person, pain is a motivator. You know, that's just the bottom line. You know, I'm hoping that eventually it doesn't have to be that way for me, you know, but that's the way it is right now. You know, and that's the way it's been since I've been here. You know, I do some work, because when I got here, man, I was ready to dip shit with a spoon. Whatever y'all told me to do, I was willing to do. And I stayed that way for about a year or two. I got in the middle of the program, and then I got complacent after that because I got a few things, you know, and one more time, it was, you know, pain that motivated me. My back got against the wall, then I came out fighting. That's my pattern. You know, my back get against, I do some work, I get complacent, my back get against the wall, and then I come out fighting. And I do some more work, you know. And this particular time, what happened was, a whole lot of things happened. Everything happened. You name it, it happened. My God broke me down, y'all, like a sawed-off shotgun. That's really the bottom line. You know, I had a slip and fall in February. It caused me to have migraine headaches every day for like 2.5 months, which were called crippling migraines that bedridden me. End up losing my job. End up giving up a relationship, going back to my ex, thinking that's where I wanted to be. You name it, it happened. I became spiritually, emotionally bankrupt. I mean, you name it, it happened. You know, I found myself one day laying on the floor, you know, crying. I was having a migraine. I was crying so bad. You know, I had went and bought this tape by Yolanda Adams, "The Battle Is Not Yours, It's the Lord." You know, and I was listening to that tape, and I was on the floor, and I was crying, because I thought I was going to die. You know, I really thought I was going to die because the migraines was just that bad. I was thinking suicidal, you know, the whole 9 yards. And I called my father, and my father is a person who knows the Lord like the back of his hand, you know, and I called him over, and he came over, and he prayed with me, and we sat down and we talked, you know, and the migraine left me, you know, and from that day to this, it has not been that severe, you know, but what that did was, it really forced me to do some work on the inside, some real work on the inside. I completed my 4th step after that, you know, I did my 5th step. You know, like David was saying, you know, I finally got the opportunity to really begin to know who I am. That's something that I always wanted to do. You know, I always wanted to know who I was, you know, and I never really knew how to go about doing it. You know, and when I got here, I heard a lot. When I came here, I was hearing a lot of horror stories about doing the 4th step. You know, and that was my excuse, because I really didn't want to get into the steps anyway, because to me, even though I didn't really understand the steps, it looked like work. You know, and I always want to do just enough to get by. You know, and that looked like work. So I was like, okay, I won't do that right now. And right now it turned into like about 3 years before I started doing any work, any step work. But anyway, I did the 5th step with my sponsor, man, and thank you. I did the 5th step with my sponsor, and it was the best thing that ever could happen to me. You know, it was the best thing that could ever happen to me. I found out a lot of things about Freddie, man, and some things I knew already. You know, some things I was in denial about, you know, and some things I just didn't know, you know. But the bottom line was that, you know, it was all right. You know, once we got finished, it was all right. You know, I wasn't really that bad person that I really thought I was. You know what I'm saying? I found out that, you know, that I am caring and you know, and loving and compassionate. You know, I used a lot of things as a defense mechanism, you know, because I was the type of person that whatever it takes, I am not going to let you know when you get to me. Whatever it takes, by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Especially my man. Oh, you are not knowing when, you know, as a matter of fact, I want you to think that don't shit bother me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I carry it, and I'm real good at it. You know, I'm even still, I could come in here, and I have friends in my life, and I have a sponsor in my life that I can let know, you know, when something is really, really going on. You know, opposed to trying to attack it by myself. You know, I come from a family, like I said, it has a whole lot of false pride. We believe in, you know, we can handle it. You know what I'm saying? You can handle your shit. You know, you don't need no help. What you mean help? You know what I'm saying? If you get any help, it's from within the family. You know, because I can remember my father telling me one time, you're a woodland, when I was a woodland. You're a woodland. You know, you can do it. What do that shit mean? You know what I'm saying? That didn't help me when I was out there trying to, you know, figure out how I was going to stop. You know, that just didn't help me. Me being a woodland didn't help me at all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but I tell you one thing, man, what works for me is sad but true. You know, when I get my butt whooped, y'all, you know, that is really what works for me. You know, I'll come out, you know, fighting, and I'll do whatever I need to do. You know, but like I said earlier, you know, I'm trying to get to a point where that don't have to be the case, you know, because the way my God broke me down this last time, I hope and I pray that I don't have to keep getting to that. You know, I don't have to keep going back to being broken down that way, because I tell you, it was not a pretty thing. It was not a pretty sight. You know, I cried day in and day out. I couldn't sleep at night. I stayed up all night crying half the night. Could not go to work. You know, I was just pitiful. You know, I didn't know whether I was going to make it from one day to the next. You know, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't do anything. You know, and I figured, damn. You know, when it was kind of like getting a little better, I was like, damn. God had to break me down like this to get me to listen. Damn. You know, that's the kind of addict I am. You know, I have built up so many defense mechanisms and stuff that it's just hard to get to me. You know, but it's getting a whole lot better. It's getting a whole lot better. You know, God has blessed me tremendously since then. You know, it's been about 3 months, you know, since I've been back to work. I've gotten married, got my old man back. Where my husband at? Hi, baby. Let me share a little bit about that. Okay. My sponsor told me to keep it simple. She must know I'm ready to go off the deep end. But anyway, how much time I got? About 10 minutes. She said I got about 10 minutes, y'all, but I really don't have 10 more minutes in me to talk, so I'm just going to really, can I open it up? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to close right now, and I really just want to say thank you, you know, for being here for me, because when that situation happened, man, it was you people and the God of my understanding that gave me the hope again, you know, and I'm real clear about that, you know, and to the newcomer, just keep coming back and give yourself a chance, man. Just give yourself a chance. I don't care what happens. Just give yourself a chance. Because if I can do it, or if anybody can do it, you're human like I'm human. You know, if I can do it, why can't you? You can do it too. You know what I'm saying? God gave me the same things he gave you. You know what I'm saying? God loved you just as much as he loved me. You know, we're all his children. You can do it. You know, just give yourself a chance. And thanks for letting me share.